Hello and welcome. It is I, Iron Raiden, and this is a bit of an impromptu video, if you will. Obviously, as of late, I've been focusing on more of the skit parody sort of things. My most recent video, the John Wick Orders Out video, very much, of course, comedic based. Very short video, but that did pretty well for my standards as to, what I usually get from my channel, this and that, trying to give you a little something different as opposed to the same old stuff here and there. But this time I'm just kind of, again, going off the cuffs, and I feel like that's given my viewpoint on the general state of a lot of film itself in general. Now, of course, you usually listen to a lot of the folk out there, this and that, this and that being woke or race swap this, race swap that, whatever, blah blah blah. And yeah, I get that, but this isn't not exactly just that sort of general rant, if you will. This is just more of what is truly missing from a lot of these films these days, because right now I've been sort of a little bit in a gangster type of mood. I've been watching Goodfellas. I just watched Casino. Right now, I just got Lethal Weapon 2 in the background right now. And the thing is, I want to point out about this is that I like various types of genres. I like various types of films. I like the comedies, the actions, the dramas, the thrillers, superhero. It doesn't matter. I like various things. Obviously, it just depends on the film itself. All right, I have various tastes, and one of my favorites, of course, is those types of films. I like certain raw films, something that can really just draw you in with certain intriguing characters, and all the characters don't necessarily have to be heroes and all this and that. Just genuine stories, things that just fascinate you, something that may be based off of certain reality. Obviously, Goodfellas, a lot of that is very much inspired by the actual story, the actual guy involved with that. Casino, not as much as that one. So if you do your research on those films, obviously you can pick up on certain things and what they're based on, this and that, what's changed, what's not changed, and just look at just history itself. Where do we come from? When we had people like that back in the day, the gangsters, if you will, how they ran things in the country. And that's an intriguing thing about film like that. People like Martin Scorsese who do that sort of thing. And it just gives you an interesting insight onto that. It's not glorifying it by any stretch of the imagination. You watch that film and you realize there's not really a real true protagonist. Like, yeah, Ray Liotta's the star. There's not like someone you're necessarily rooting for, but there's always those points and times where in various maybe certain situations you may be wanting to see a character, see what goes, you know to see if they can get out of something like that, you know what I mean? And but that's the intriguing thing about film. We don't have to have the Boy Scout sort of thing, or the Girl Scout now, if you will. We don't have to have that strong, heroic person. It's all perfect and this and that. It's like, no, we want characters that have those certain types of flaws. We want to see something that's based off of a real. I mean, just because, yeah, this is something that. I mean, you watch Goodfellas or something like that. Yeah, most of the people now who consume the average Disney product or this or that, obviously they probably couldn't watch that movie for all of 2 minutes and not flip their fucking lid. But that's not the point. The point is the storytelling. It's the aspect in which it's done. Again, just the general camera work, the cinematography, the characters, the dialogue, certain things that just draw you in for a fascinating story, especially if it's something that's based off of an actual form of history and things like that, or more something along the more exaggerated action buddy cop like a Lethal Weapon, where you had a white guy and a black guy who were teamed up with one another, and they went on about, they did their thing. Yeah, they had their differences at first, but they weren't racist towards one another, this and that. So no, it's like, no, it's a genuine buddy cop action drama comedy. If it had it all. All right, those Lethal Weapon movies are all very much solid in that aspect, and they're some of the greatest action films of all time, if you ask me. I mean, just when you have a character like Rig in the original movie, who's very much out of his mind. I mean, that's his whole character. I mean, that's a lot of what the title refers to. Lethal Weapon. Danny Glover says it. As opposed, we have to register you as a lethal weapon. This and that sort of thing. He's suicidal at the start of this film. He's clearly deranged. He's clearly a bit lost, part because of his wife and all that stuff not being around anymore. And just seeing characters that are so heavily flawed. They're so heavily just out of their own element, but you see when they interact with certain characters, when they have these certain attachments with someone who's a family man like Murtaugh, who's not up for all that bullshit, this and that, but how they find that common ground, how they stick together, and how they just continue on just becoming the best of friends over the course of 4 films. And just that missing sort of element. So the general point of this is, I know it may seem a bit rambly, but again, it's just off the cuff, just going forward, just speaking about just certain elements that we know that are missing. Is just that genuine, honest to God character when it comes to films like this that feel very real. Because, yeah, it's a buddy cop action sort of film, but it's very raw in certain ways. It's very real as far as the characters, as far as their emotions, what motivates them, and how they come together. And that is something that's so heavily missing these days that it's just so unbelievable. I mean, it really is. When you go back to what a lot of people could say, maybe the golden age of film, whatever, however you feel about it, just something like those types of films from the 80s that just had that certain tone about them, or the 90s, that really drew you in one way or the other, whether it be through certain characters, through certain plots, through certain going-ons and all that. Just so many great elements that really made film, where no one was so fucking focused on trying to tell you, no, this is that way. Oh, we gotta have this actor in here. Oh, this character's gotta be race swapped now. Oh, now we gotta do an animated live action remake of the so it's like nobody. This is so manufactured now to where there really is no true magic in most films these days. You really do have to dig and dig and dig. There was a time where I could go to the movie probably up to 3, 4 times a month. So many different movies coming out at a certain time. Nowadays, I'd be lucky if I wound up going to a movie once every 2 to 3 months at this point in time. That's how so very little I can actually find myself wanting to go to see anything at this point. And that is so fucking unfortunate to where, but hey, I mean, you can't truly take these films away. They can edit shit all they fucking want to. They could put up on streaming services, and as some people will tout for, is that, yeah, that's why you want to own physical media. That's why you want to have those Blu-rays and all this other stuff in your collection, so you don't have to go to streaming services, and they act like it's unedited, but they always take out that little bit or put some bullshit, and it's like, what the? You think I wouldn't notice that? No, I noticed it. But the magic is just, it's clearly not there anymore. And many would hope that it would get back to a certain norm to where we could just focus on characters, focus on excitement, focus on just drawing ourselves in. I mean, we have, yeah, certain films like a John Wick, obviously, things like that, or the Top Gun Mavericks, things that really just come out and just do their thing. They know what they're about. Just that classic feel, just drawing you in with the basics, just the most fucking basic of intrigue for any average film goer, whether it be the way the action is done, the way the sequel was done, the way it follows up on characters, just new intriguing ideas, whatever, just anything that draws you in naturally to any form of entertainment. And that's all we want. Stop being so hyper focused, and sure, depending on whatever this video, I'm sure I'll get one person at least, or somebody just disliking the video, not saying anything, but hey, that's up to you. That's your opinion, obviously, and this is mine. So with that said, I don't take what I'm saying and just try to twist it as if I'm being some fucking asshole for the sake of being an asshole. If I have to be the asshole, of course I'll be the asshole. But this is just a fact of the matter. Film, the way it's done, no one cares anymore. No one truly cares. Everything is manufactured. Everything now just wants to focus on the wrong elements instead of intrigue, instead of fun, instead of excitement. I love a good mystery. I love films like The Shawshank Redemption, of course. Some could say this is the greatest film of all time. Very simple in its storytelling. I can watch that film damn near every day and not really get tired of it. It just has such a flow to it, such a beautiful message by the end of it, and you see just the friendship between Andy Dufresne and Red, played by Morgan Freeman. Again, a white and a black guy takes place decades ago. Okay, and how a friendship like that can form, and just the beauty within the story itself, despite the down nature of what all is, ingrained within that film. But by the end of it, it's just a nice feel good type of thing, and you realize that certain, like, the journey that Andy went on, for as dark and as sad as it may seem, at the end of the day, you realize the beauty that really came out of his journey and the friendship he formed and what he managed to change his time while being in prison for all those years. And just pick up on little things like that. That's the beauty of storytelling. That's the beauty of character. That's what's missing. There's no genuine magic, that certain touch where you just know that no one gave a shit about who someone looks like, who someone sounds like. None of that. No, it's just character. All right. Plenty of races that have interacted on screen, this and that, whatever. No one thinks twice about that. Okay, you think when Andy goes talking to Red in prison, he's thinking like, oh, who's this black dude over here? I should avoid him. No, no, no. Okay, he strikes up a conversation. He needs something to snap. You just see the little touches over time, and just how the film paces itself over the years, how these two characters connect, and the bond that they form by the end of that. That is movie magic right there. That is storytelling. That is character. That is depth. That is intrigue. That is what we want. We don't care about this other shit. No one does. Just entertainment. Just a message without having to preach to you. Just genuine human decency. And some would argue that that's what they're trying. It's like, no. No, that's an agenda. That right there is just heart. It's just heart. And that's it. All right? That's all it really comes down to. But anyway, yeah, I guess I've babbled on long enough. Again, it's just kind of on a whim. Just kind of taking the basis of, some things I've been watching lately, and just certain films that I enjoy, and just that magic. Just a certain magic. That's all we want. Is that really so hard? Anyway, that'll do it for this video. I am Iron Raven, and I'm out.